the last important judgment of the court that regarding live-in relationship, the legality of live-in relationship in India and those rights of women in such live-in relationship that we would like to discuss relating to S.Khushboo vs. Kanniamal and another in the year 2008. So, in this case, Khushboo is petitioner and is well-known actress in Tamil Nadu and filed quash petition against Kanniamal and another in the High Court of Madras, and this petition is rejected by the Madras High Court. Then she approached Supreme Court for granting special leave to her against the order passed by the High Court of Madras. So the case is linked to cybercrime when the statement of the petitioner was published in India Today. As follows, according to me, as the petitioner says is not concerned with the body but also concerned with the conscience. I could not understand matters such as changing boyfriends every week. When a girl is committed to her boyfriend, she can tell her parents and go out with him. When the daughter is having a serious relationship, the parents should allow the same. After this, the same statement was published in Dina Tanti, which was the daily newspaper in Tamil Nadu, published the same and due these sensation statements it was related to cybercrime. So the legal jargon involved in the case is relating to defamation, freedom of speech, public interest, and indecent representation of Women Prohibition Act of 1986. As regarding defamation, it comes under section 499 of the Indian Penal Code of 1860. It states that the statement that harms a person's reputation, it can be either written or so. And regarding freedom of speech, which comes under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A of the Indian Constitution, it guaranteed citizens the freedom of speech and expression. This includes the right to express oneself through speech, writing, printing, and visual representation. And as regarding public interest, the court assessed the Khushboo statements were in the public interest, and in regard to indecent representation of women in the act of to provide for more effective protection of the rights of women. The writ petition that was S.Khushboo filed a writ petition before the Madras High Court seeking directions to remove defamatory content from the website. The affidavit filed Khushboo stating that the website content false and defamatory content harming her reputation. So the Madras High Court on October 29, 2008, delivered its judgment directing the website to remove the defamatory content. The website content was the printouts of the website's content which allegedly contained defamatory statement about Khushboo. The newspaper articles from various newspapers which reported on the controversy surrounding Khushboo's alleged remarks. The statement from the witnesses who claimed to have seen the defamatory content on the website. As per the legal provisions as well, Section 499 of Indian Penal Code, which defines the offence of defamation and prescribes punishment, while Section 500 of the Indian Penal Code provided punishment for defamation, which prescribes the punishment for the offence of defamation. Section 67 of the Information Technology Act of 2000 provides publishing options information, which prohibits the publication of options information in electronic form or media. And regarding online resources, the Madras High Court website, the official website of the Madras High Court, which provides access to court judgments and orders, so the website as regarding to the very abstract of the case. The present case in the hand is that the petitioner has responded to the topic, which was the increasing incident of premarital sex, especially in context of living relationship, which was raised by leading news magazine that is India Today, and for that the petitioner had expressed her point of view that nowadays there are increasing number of live-in relationships and girls should be aware of premarital sex and unwanted pregnancy and transmission of venereal diseases. It may lead to disputes after marriage, because every man wants his wife to be virgin, but when they having sexual relationship calls with others, they should protect themselves from conceiving and getting venereal disease. These remarks were published alongside a survey, the relevant extracts of which are we would like to discuss. Will you marry a person who had relationship with others? 18% of the respondents expressed yes, while 71% of respondents expressed no. Is it necessary to be a virgin till the time of marriage? In that regard, 65% provided the answer yes and 26% no to the remaining percentage of people said do not, no, cannot say. 82% women had given an opinion that a girl should be a virgin at the time of marriage. Ladalli Dina Tanti at Tamil Delhi carried a news point on 2005, which first quoted the Complaint statement published in India Today and also editorialized that it had created a sensation is over the state of Tamil Nadu. This news point also rebooted discussion between the appellant and a pressman from Dina Tanti. However, after publication of the news item, the appellant had sent a legal notice to in 2005 to the editor of Dina Tanti, denying that statement quoted in news and also appellant asked that to the publisher to withdraw the news item in 2024. After that, many cases filed on appellant from Indore, Madhya Pradesh, and also some statements, or it was suggested that all women in Tamil Nadu had lost their virginity before marriage. The complaints alleged to appellant had committed offences punishable under section 499, 500, section 504, section 505, subsection 1, and section 509 of Indian Penal Code. Read with section 6 of the Act of 1986, most of the cases were filed in Tamil Nadu district. The appellant approached the High Court of Madras to say that quashing of all the criminal proceedings filed against her. The court refused to quash the proceedings on her in 2008 because of the powers and provisions under section 482 of the Criminal Procedure Code of 1973. The High Court of Madras noted that two introductory questions were involved in this case. Originally, whether the appellant could claim any of the recognized defenses against the allegations of having committed vilification as contemplated under Section 299 of Indian Penal Code. Secondly, whether the suers could at all be described as displaced persons within the meaning of Section 199 of the Criminal Procedure Code, since that was linked to the question of whether the appellant been made in a bona fide manner. The High Court of Madras allowed it fit to leave both the question for consideration by trial judge, and in a partial vote referred to the appellant, it was directed that all the felonious proceedings pending against her be consolidated and tried by the Chief Metropolitan Magistrate at Chennai. Still, the High Court also progressed to record its own views regarding the contents of the appellant's statement and indeed made some strong compliances condemning the prevalence of adulterous coitus and live-in relationship. After she approached Supreme Court for granting special leave to her against the order passed by the High Court of Madras Supreme Court observed that the appellant has merely referred to increasing incidents of premarital sex and other sides also. Finally, the given judgment was the Supreme Court held that there is no prima facie case of defamation in the present case. The court also found that the institution of numerous criminal complaints against the appellant was done in a malified manner in order to help the abuse of felonies. Yes, law ministry. So, it would be applicable to grant the relief sought by the appellant to quash all the complaints in similar cases. The statutory powers to direct and disquisition into the allegation that it is not the task of the felonious law to discipline individual, it is simply for expressing unpopular views. So now we would like to discuss the very judgment delivered by the Apex Court and in relation to the judgment delivered by the Madras High Court in this landmark judgment S.Khushboo vs. Kanniamal and another in the year 2008. It can be said that this judgment of the Supreme Court is grounded upon a fact which the framers of the Constitution of India also unearthed, that the significance of securing the freedom of speech and expression as provided under Article 19, Clause 1, Subclause A, since the free inflow of opinions and ideas is essential to sustain the philosophy of the populace. Also, an informed populace is a precondition for meaningful governance as it promotes to the open dialogue between the government and society. So, hereby you would like to conclude the most important and landmark judgment delivered by the Supreme Court of India in response to the judgment of the High Court of Madras in this landmark judgment in the leading case S.Khushboo vs. Kanniamal and another in the year 2008.